Thank you guys for joining us for day two of NFL free agency frenzy with Malik Wright, presented by First Star Logistics. Here with my main man, Nick Phillips. We're going to be breaking down all the latest news around the NFL. We'll be talking about rumors. We'll be debunking some rumors. There are a lot of stuff on the on social media. I would say that where people are making some things up, and we're that's what we do here on the show. We're here to debunk some things. So yeah, this is what the show is all about. It's about talking about free agency news, and we hope that you guys are joining in on the discussion, and you guys have brought your questions. We're pretty excited about it. So, with that being said, Ev, today was a little bit of a quieter free agency day than we anticipated. But you know what? It still was a day. It still was, a lot to talk about, things to discuss, things of that nature. What move shocked you, if any move shocked you today? Ev?
I think the Allen Lazard was the one that kind of came out of nowhere. After Jacoby Myers only got 11 million, I mean, Allen Lazard came out and got the same. And I think it's, if you look at the numbers, obviously, like you want Allen Lazard for what he can do as the run blocker. Obviously, he draws Aaron Rodgers maybe a little bit more to the Jets, as it's been reported by, I think it was Diana Rossini, that he wants Randall Cobb and Mercedes Lewis, and they're okay at, everything they do in their own rights. Mercedes Lewis is still a good blocker. Like Randall Cobb could probably give you some back end value for a little bit for some rotation. And if it all gets Aaron Rodgers to finally decide that he wants to go, then I understand it. I think you're signing him to be a run blocker and kind of, I guess, let Elijah Moore and Jesus, I'm blanking. Garrett Wilson, there we go. Also try to compete and just go be those ball winners and be those talented receivers that Aaron Rodgers has constantly needed. And I guess if Alan Lazard is just going to be that guy underneath and in the slot and in the role that he plays as a good blocker, then I guess it's a fine investment. But I just didn't really understand why they had to necessarily commit as much as they did to him. I
To
think he could
Alan
have been
Lazard,
had
you're
for
saying?
less. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like this is definitely a move to make Aaron Rodgers happy. And for a guy that said I was not going to hold the Packers hostage, for a guy that said he was going to make his decision pretty quick, I feel like the Packers were very understanding. Teams are very understanding of him wanting to go into his darkness retreat and do
Hmm.
all this weird stuff that he wanted to do, right? But now we're at a point now where it's going to happen. A move is going to happen, right? And it seems like all signs point to Aaron Rodgers being a Jet. All signs point to Aaron Rodgers wanting to control the narrative. All signs to point to Aaron Rodgers tomorrow live on the Pat McAfee show, probably announcing that, hey, you know what? He's signing with the New York Football Jets. To me, it seems like the Jets put a lot of eggs in that basket, right? And they want they're hoping for the best that this works out. But I gotta ask, how do you think players on the Jets may view this, right? The constant dragging your feet, because listen, I know the quarterback position is the most important position in sports, and you're the leader amongst the team. So you gotta wonder, what type of impact does that have on the players on the New York Football Jets? What does that say to them about Aaron Rodgers' intentions? Just curious.
I think you got to be a little bit frustrated. Obviously, like people want the elite quarterback to come. People were used to the courtship for the elite quarterback. But I think with this entire process, doing the darkness retreat, not having anything based off it, and then no decision, and oh yeah, I'll get around to it in the future at some point. Like it's felt like it's been dragging his feet, like you said. And now it comes out that he has kind of a list of demands, and that's just kind of like it almost feels like, how committed are you to this team? You go into the interview with Brandon Marshall the other day and you talk about, oh, well, if someone were to only play 1 year, then could they be a Hall of Fame quarterback or a star or whatever it was for that franchise? And it's just like, man, you just keep putting all this stuff out that it makes it harder and harder to be enthusiastic about feeling like you really want to be a part of this. And the Jets have done such a good job building their team out through free agency and through the draft, man. You got two great corners in Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed. You've got Quinnen Williams. You've got good, talented people on the defense and the offense. Aaron Rodgers should want to play with them. He called them out and named people by name on that roster like he wanted to play there with those guys. And it just feels like it's a different tune now. And I think that's definitely got to dampen the enthusiasm a little bit. Obviously, if he finally makes his decision, I think that'll probably wash away a lot of the ill will, but it's not the right start I think you want for going to a new team or trying to assuage any of the, perception about you, which Aaron Rodgers has constantly proved he doesn't care. And he just likes to be the center of attention for as long as he can. So hopefully we get the answer tomorrow. We can put it to bed and we can be done with it.
I'll say this. One move that shocked me today, I mean, not shocked me in the sense of them being moved, but shocked me in a sense for how little they went for, was Shaq Mason.
Mhm.
Shaq Mason being traded for as little as he was traded for. It seems like, man, if you want to go out there and you want to fix the offensive line, man, it seems like there are opportunities out there for that to happen. And I think a lot of teams should have been on that. You mean to tell me a team wouldn't trade not even a 5th round pick or 4th round pick for Shaq Mason? It's one of the best guards in football.
Yeah.
So to me, you can't be serious. You can't be serious about wanting to improve your offensive line if you're in the National Football League if you don't go out and you don't trade for a guy like him. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it goes to show a little bit how the NFL's maybe devalued guards a little bit compared to tackles, and maybe they feel like they have more flexibility there,
Mhm.
or they have guys who have that experience to play in and out, and you find more of those guys with that positional versatility as you go to the center because the traits that you have to have obviously to play tackle are a lot more rare, right? And maybe that's a little bit about the market. Maybe that's the availability because you see these guys out there just, trading teams going left and right. I mean, you just saw Powers with the Broncos,
Yeah.
right? That's another guy who just got a bag and, good for him. And the Broncos are spending like crazy on that O line. And it's just, I don't understand, why you would go out there and spend that money on a
Right.
guy when you can just trade, some late round picks and move some stuff around real quick for little to no cost to you and get, like you said, one of the more consistent and better guards that you've seen in the NFL recently. It doesn't make sense, man.
Yeah. To me, I think that this whole free agency class, I would say this free agency period has been kind of weird. There's still
It has
some
been
names
weird.
out there.
Yeah.
There's still some top names out there, man. And, I feel like there's a lot of people out there panicking because they don't see their team making moves. But understand when you get into day 3, day 4, day 5 of free agency and you still see some marquee players out there, that's the time, that's the opportunity for you to go out there and potentially be able to snag what they call team friendly deals for players that are, trying to reestablish themselves. We are going to get to your questions too. So we see all you guys asking questions in the comment section. We will get there, I promise. But there's a lot still to come through. Again, this show is strictly dedicated to NFL fans, and we discuss every single thing or surrounding the NFL. How about that Darren Waller move? Darren Waller to the New York Football Giants. Good move for the Giants. They get some help for Danny Dimes, their franchise quarterback. Right? That still sounds weird to say, but they get some help for their franchise quarterback and Daniel Jones. That move didn't surprise me as much because I do know the Miami Dolphins were approached by the Raiders about potentially trading for Darren Waller. But
Mhm.
again, we're one of those things where you hear and you say, what's the craziest thing you've heard throughout this free agency period? That was one of those things. So um, to me, it wasn't too strange to see Darren Waller get moved. I was shocked to see New York be the team to be aggressive in going
Mhm.
to do so. What were your thoughts on that?
I think that there's definitely you can understand the logic behind the move when you start to look at it a little bit closer. When you look at the state of the wide receiver free agent class, right? When you look at it's a little bit of a down year for wide receivers, especially after guys like Jordan Addison disappointed at the combine, right?
Mhm.
Um, you're looking at that, and maybe they're saying we want to get a guy we can possibly have who can be a playmaker for our offense, right? And I can understand it from that perspective. And also, you look at the money at first, it's oh, he's got 17 million per year on average. He's got the highest average per year among any tight end according to over the cap, right? But when you actually look at the salary and how it works out, his base salary is only 11 million in 2023 and 8.2 of that is guaranteed. His cap will be about 12 million. But after this season, if it doesn't work out, if he shows that he isn't the same guy he used to be, if he gets injured again,
Mhm.
they can cut him with no money, no dead money next
Mhm.
season. So you can save yourself that $12 million in cap and you can cut him loose. So really, he's got a 1-year deal really right now to prove that he can still be the guy he needs to be. So for the draft capital they got in the Kadarius Toney trade, I mean, that's I guess trading in a playmaker that they didn't like, that regime didn't care for somebody that they felt like was their guy. And if they feel
Right.
like that's going to be a way to fit their offense,
Right.
to help Daniel Jones to attack the middle of the field and be a threat at what he can do, then I can understand why they would do that move.
And we're gonna get to some of your questions as well. But before we do, make sure you guys give this video a like, right? We're trying to get this video up to over 100 likes. I'm not sure where we're at currently right now. But also subscribe to the YouTube channel. You guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're trying to hit 4K on the YouTube channel. Let's hit 4K on the YouTube channel. We'll start diving into some of these rumors and some of these conversations here. But until then, we'll just keep talking ball right now. We'll keep talking ball. Dan, let me know when we cross over that, when we get when that subscriber count goes up. We're trying to hit 4K again. But let's keep the conversation rolling. Yeah, man. I'm still waiting to see what happens with the whole Baker Mayfield to the Buccaneers thing as well, man.
Mhm.
And I know that's something that I know they're in on him. I think that will be a good move for Baker Mayfield, to be honest with you as well. I think that would be a good move for his career. Teaming up over there with not Sean McVay. What am I talking about? For the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a team that's they're in a rebuild spot, right? But they're also I feel like there's still some weapons for him to throw to in Mike Evans, right? You got Chris Godwin still there.
Russell Gage is no slouch.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, you look at the state of the wide receiver market right now, man.
Mhm.
That's a reliable receiver. And they restructured, so they restructured his contract.
For sure.
I think Godwin's as well. So, there's at least an intent to keep them in the long term right now.
Absolutely. Now a question I have for you. So just so you guys know, the word on the street is Odell Beckham still thinks he can command $20 million annually. What are your thoughts on that? He did a workout for teams in Arizona a couple days ago.
I don't know if anybody's going to put that money in his face unless they and you got to lace that with incentives, man, with how much he's been injured and on and off the field and the state that he's at right now. Even if he looks healthy on grass right now, I mean, you might feel a little bit tempted, but I just can't imagine a team giving him $20 million and maybe guaranteeing 12 or 15 of it. I struggle to see that. I think he would really need to take maybe a 15, 18, $20 million, maybe, if you get a team crazy enough to do it, deal with laden with incentives for him to hit, so that he has that motivation to play and hopefully has that fire he still has, because we know how talented the guy was when he was completely healthy, but it's a little bit removed from that. And we know how the injuries to those joints and everything happens and what it does to you as you get older, especially. And he's getting to that point now where it's tough to bounce back from that and be the same guy when you rely so much on your suddenness to get open, on your athleticism. So even if you feel good about that, I don't know how I would feel good about any team really giving him $20 million unless you just really need to meet the cap floor or you have the money to spend in the short term.
You sound like a guy that knows about pains and aches and what that
I'm
feels
28,
like.
so I'm like right there where I'm pushing to the wrong side of 30 almost. So then, the back, the knees, the shoulders, they're all hurting a little bit more. So, I can only imagine what it's like coming back from major injuries, major surgeries, going through that rehab. I mean, that's tough to trust your knee again. And we've seen it takes a year or two sometimes to recover that, even if you're 25 or 26, let alone 28, 29, or 30. So,
all right. Awesome. Like I said, we're going to keep the conversation rolling here. Again, we are live from the First Star Logistics studio for day 2 of NFL free agency frenzy. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on the post notification icon. We are live every single day of this week discussing NFL free agency. We were supposed to bring beer. We were supposed to bring pizza. We were supposed to have a day. I was waiting on you to do that, man.
Oh, well, I was outside at 5:30, man. I was trying to get in here.
Yeah, okay.
You were busy. I know. You got a lot of free agent stuff going on, man. You got more important people to talk to than me.
Hey, listen, man.
I could have run and got some beer, but you got important stuff.
You're still very important to me, man. You're still very important to me, brother. No, we're gonna get to some of these people's questions here. I'm not gonna keep you guys prolonged. But in all seriousness, if you guys can do us a favor, give this video a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Daniel, let's jump to some of these questions here.
Good question. So, I mean, about an hour ago, Samaje Perine to the Broncos, 2 years, $7 million. Did the Broncos overpay for Perine, and what's you guys' thoughts on that deal?
Absolutely.
They paid $7.5 million. Yeah, the Bengals were never matching that.
No chance.
They were never doing that.
No, let him walk. Thank you again, Samaje Perine. Good job. Get the bag, but that's.
I mean, I think the one thing that was most valuable to the Bengals team that Samaje Perine brought was his blocking ability. Mm-hmm. He also didn't dance a lot in the backfield. He was a downhill runner, right? But in terms of capabilities, I think that the guy was limited in some ways. I think he wasn't the most athletic, right? But he was a good piece. He was a good culture guy. He was good for the team. He's one of those guys. What did you say on the show before? lunch,
that was
a lunchbox and a
hard hat and a lunch pail.
Listen, he was a
real grinder. Just wakes up every morning at 4 or 5 a.m. Just puts in the hours.
He's a real grinder.
Puts in the work,
He's a real grinder. He's a guy that likes ball, man. No,
hasn't missed a day in 4 years. That kind of guy.
He's a guy that just shows up and does his job.
Right.
Might not be able to extend his body for passing the Super Bowl with the game on the line, but hey, he's a guy that I'm kidding. No, Samaje Perine, man. Samaje Perine, nothing but great things to say about him, man. Samaje Perine was awesome, man. He was awesome to have. So yeah.
Our guy Tom Jones is asking about the Stephon Gilmore to the Cowboys. He said the Bengals could have easily done that, but overall, what was your guys' thoughts on Stephon Gilmore to the Cowboys?
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if I have questions sometimes about the Bengals front office. Like, are you going to place those phone calls? Are you going to just even pick up the phone to see what it might take to get a guy? Because I can tell you right now, the general consensus around the football league, unless you're dealing with the New England Patriots, is that the Cincinnati Bengals are one of the hardest teams to trade with, right? I mean, like they're looked at as a team that, unless they're fleecing you in a sense, they're not going to listen. The Bengals want to make sure they win. They want to make sure that they win in the trade. They are a very, I'm just telling you guys, the opinion of the Bengals around the National Football League they are a very difficult team to trade with. It doesn't also seem like the Bengals will be the team that are going to be first to pick up the phone and call you and ask you about a said player.
No.
You would have to call the team, and then you better make sure that offer that you make to the team is completely like
it's real. It's got to be
real and it's out there, and meaning they're winning in a big way. That's just the way they've done business. I can't understand it. There's no rhyme or reason. I know a lot of people joke and they say, "Hey, do you have a fly on the wall in the Bengals front office?" No, I don't. I just know the right people, and I will say they've kind of been they've been very guarded this offseason with a lot of things. So I feel like I'm almost prying for information. But you do wonder, okay, if guys are like Shaq Mason just got traded for what, a 6th round pick?
Yeah.
7th round pick, whatever it was. Just pick up the phone call and see what it might take to grab a guy. And guess what the beautiful thing about is? Shaq Mason fell right under their threshold, right? Of paying double digits, dollars to an offensive guard, because the Bengals still believe that they should not have to pay 12, 13, 14, 15 million. Shaq Mason's playing this year $9 million. So you mean to tell me Shaq Mason isn't an upgrade over Cordell Volson? Get real. Be serious. I'm just being real right now. And I'm just saying, like, go out there, place a phone call, see what it takes to grab a guy. Don't just sit by and say, you know what? Well, we did what we got to do. Hey, I got $5 million a year I'll offer you. I front load the contract and pay you up front $9 million guaranteed. Hopefully that's enough to get you to sign here. When you got guards out here now making $17 million a year, if you guys really want to know, it's not that the Bengals won't pay people. It's that the Bengals believe in certain positions that they will pay. That's the fact of the matter. And people always say, oh, the Bengals should restructure. The Bengals should restructure. The way the Bengals structure their contracts makes it very obsolete to quote unquote restructure. A lot of the money that the Bengals pay people are front loaded. It's front loaded, meaning even Jermaine Pratt's deal, $10 million guaranteed up front the first year. After that is $7 million a year. You mean to tell me Jermaine Pratt? Let's talk about it. Jermaine Pratt couldn't have gotten more in the open market? Bull crap. Jermaine Pratt is loyal. Yep. And that's what the headline needs to be. The headline should not be the Bengals, did everything in their power it took to keep Jermaine Pratt. That should not be the headline. The headline should be Jermaine Pratt took a pay cut to stay with the Cincinnati Bengals. That's what it should read. If I'm being real. Because the dude could have gotten more in the open market. He could have gotten more. Had he been patient, he probably could have gotten more. And I think he understands what's in front of him. And I love the quote he said. We were so close to winning a Super Bowl. We were so close to overcoming that. But again, the front office gets praised for signing a linebacker that's entering into the prime of his career for $7 million a year. And it's making it seem like, oh, well, that means the Bengals are really good at. No, the issue with the Bengals is they front load contracts. It's the reason why when people say, oh, restructure Joe Mixon contract, it doesn't make sense. That doesn't work. It's front loaded. The Bengals' biggest issue is not that they're not willing to pay people. It's the fact that the Bengals aren't willing to guarantee people past the first year. That's what got the deal over the top for Trey Hendrickson's deal. I was right on the front lines with that, talking to people about that. That's what got him over the line, because it was between the Bengals and another football team. And the guaranteed in the first year is what got it over the top. because the Bengals don't like to guarantee X amount of dollars, past the first year. They like to make it very, very incentivized. So I'm simply telling you guys that for Jermaine Pratt's deal specifically, he took a pay cut to play with the Bengals, and the Bengals certainly did not pay him what was anticipated on the market. Even though TJ Edwards drew the price down, that was a situation of Jermaine Pratt saying, screw it, I'm just going to sign with the Bengals because I believe in what we're building. I believe in the culture, and I love this team.
Quick note just on Stephon Gilmore. I agree with your overall point, right?
Yeah.
That the Bengals are generally difficult to trade with, don't necessarily offer the guaranteed money that other teams do and like to front load it. All of that stuff correct. Just some reasons that Stephon Gilmore might not make sense for the Bengals. Obviously, Shaq Mason, we can talk about that and how that might upgrade the offensive line and give you more depth as well if you really feel that confident about Cordell Volson. No shame in him spending a year or two on the backside and then taking over a starting job. So anyways, beside the point, getting into Stephon Gilmore, he's going to be 33, right? We talked about how a 30-year-old James Bradbury wasn't going to fit the vision of the Bengals and what they needed to get younger and more athletic at corner, right? Stephon Gilmore is going to be 33. He's not going to be that, right? He's going to be a 1 or 2 year guy. He probably wants to start, right? The Bengals believe in Cam Taylor-Britt. The Bengals believe in Cheeto Awuzie. Right. So who are they going to bench for that, right? Who is Stephon Gilmore going to take a backup role or a role behind all these guys to do that? I don't think there's that interest. You said the other day, both sides have to have interest.
Right.
Two people got to have interest. And I don't think he would be interested in that role for them. On top of that, he's owed $9 million in salary and roster bonus.
Breaking news, Leighton Vander Esch just signed back with the Dallas Cowboys, by the way.
7 or 8 mil. How much?
He signed back for a 2-year deal worth $11 million.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Man, this linebacker market,
it's killer, man. Just quick point again about the money real quick, just to wrap up. He can earn up to $1 million in per game roster bonuses too on top of that. So you're talking about maybe as much as a $9-10 million cap hit for basically a 1-year rental on a guy who doesn't fit your vision or help you next season, because then you just have to go sign another corner again. Right. So I just don't think there was a fit there, but I agree with your overall points about the difficulty to trade and how sometimes or most times the Bengals are not going to be the aggressors in trade talks.
So a lot of people are asking about Chauncey Gardner. Everybody says, where's Chauncey? Is he going to the Bengals?
Go ahead, Malik. You got it.
Give the people what they want. Is it a yes? Is it a no? Is it a maybe?
What they want.
I asked this question very specifically about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson yesterday. As it was told to me, he's not coming to the Bengals.
It's over?
He's not coming to the Bengals.
Malik.
The Philadelphia Eagles, I know, are trying to grab him. I'm not trying to be that guy. I'm not.
Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?
I mean, just the same. I mean, it's
half of y'all probably think I'm just stupid.
Listen, the fact of the matter is, I've asked several times about. Listen, I would love Chauncey Gardner to be in stripes. I would love Chauncey Gardner's energy for this team, for this city. The city deserves a winner. But as it was told to me, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is not on the Bengals' radar. Now, if Chauncey Gardner wants to sign with the Cincinnati Bengals for $5 million a year or below market value, way below market value, sure, anything could happen. But for his price tag and what he wants, it's the same thing. Do you listen?
For them not to match the Von Bell deals tells you how they value safety, and they're not going to chase him.
And here's the big thing too, like the Eagles are still trying to get Chauncey Gardner-Johnson to come back. That's why he deleted all those tweets as well about the Bengals and stuff like that. We just don't envision that. Listen, players want to come to Cincinnati, but are players willing to take a $10 million pay cut or $15 million pay cut to come play in Cincinnati? Probably not. So like, it's a cool idea. It would be great to see Chauncey Gardner-Johnson in stripes. I just don't envision that.
People are asking about the running backs. Is there any truth to the rumor of Kareem Hunt, Ronald Jones, Alexander Mattison to the Bengals?
Malik?
Where are these rumors coming from?
I don't know, man. I don't understand, because obviously they haven't cut Mixon yet. There's no way they're going to go sign another veteran right now, I don't think, until he's off the books, until after the draft. And there's no reason to, when you've got so many running backs and there's not enough. It's a game of musical chairs, and there's only so many chairs. I
want to address this. Juan Sylvan, listen to me. The Bengals are a free agent destination. You sound ridiculous, my man. They are a free agent destination. Players do want to come here, but it takes two to tango. I've sat on the show for several weeks, and I said the Bengals are not going to be reckless with their spending. It takes two to tango. Players want to come to Cincinnati, but when free agency opens up and legal tampering opens up and you call the Bengals and you say, hey, I want to come to Cincinnati. I see you guys are building something special there. And your market value potentially is $12 million a year or $13 million a year or $14 or $15 million a year. And then you say, hey, Bengals, what is the offer you can offer me? And the Bengals say, yeah, we can offer you $6 million a year. What? Like, what sense does that make? Do we not think like star players want to come to Cincinnati? Of course they want to come to Cincinnati. But when you approach the Bengals about this, again, it takes two to tango. It takes that team also wanting to say, yeah, we'll pay you what you're worth. But the fact of the matter is that doesn't always happen. Not just with the Bengals, but that happens around the league. But specifically talking about Cincinnati, there are players that want to come to Cincinnati. There are players that want to come to Cincinnati. But the money also has to make sense. It has to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes for any profession. Mm-hmm. That's like you saying, hey, boss, I really want this title to be general manager of Cinnabon. Okay, what's it going to take to get you to be general manager of Cinnabon? Okay, of course it's going to include a pay raise, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to want a pay raise. Oh, no, we'll still keep you at what you're making at $10 an hour. What? I should be on salary. It's the same thing. Would you take on more responsibilities? I don't care if it's the best Cinnabon store in the country. Are you going to get promoted as the Cinnabon manager without getting a raise or without getting what you're worth?
Giving a lot of free looks to
what
Cinnabon,
are we talking about
here? You gotta start charging for this. Chill out,
I'm just being real. What are we talking about here? Players could want to come here all they want. Kyrie Irving wants to be a Laker. You think in the offseason, if the Lakers offer Kyrie Irving a vet minimum, he's going to sign there?
No.
What are we talking about? Continue, Daniel.
So breaking news, Robert Spillane, Steelers, linebacker signed with the Raiders. Just wanted to add that. Raiders added a little something there. But with all the talk about the safeties, Brian said there's no way that the Bengals just roll out Tyson Anderson and Dax Hill. What's your guys' plan, or what should be the plan at safety?
I mean, I think you can find those guys. Like we talked about, the linebacker market's depressed. The safety market, it's been pretty stagnant so far too. You got guys like a Julian Love, like a Taylor Rapp out there. I mean, obviously, the Cowboys just re-signed Donovan Smith. No, that's the tackle. I did the Zim
Wilson.
thing that he did. Donovan Wilson. Thank you. I mean, there's still Adrian Amos, who had his first down year of his career last year, if you want to go a veteran way. These guys are all going to be in that $4 to $6 or $8 million range. And if the Bengals didn't want to pay Von Bell his $7 to $8 million a year, if that's probably going to be in their price range. And there's guys you can have that are still quality safeties there. They clearly believe that that's a more replaceable position. And just on the Athletic podcast the other day, Nate Tice and Robert Mays were talking about how defensive coordinators were talking to them, and they were saying, when talking about post safeties, like I've never seen, like, I've never encountered a post safety who was just so incredibly good that you had to completely alter your game plan, or you had to change something like you do for a corner or a defensive end or a really incredible linebacker, obviously like Ed Reed excluded, right? So it's just, I think it's a general devaluation that we're seeing in the NFL of these safeties. And I think the Bengals are going to be able to reap the benefits, but you'll see the longer these guys sit out there, maybe the less money they're willing to take, and that starts to get into the Bengals price range. So I feel like any of those guys would be a good fit. There's a variety of either veteran guys right there to help in front of a Tyson, so you feel a little bit better about him maybe in a year or two, like an Adrian Amos, or you got the younger guys like a Taylor Rapp to kind of fill in there, or Julian Love, who might be a little bit more expensive. So I think there's a couple different ways they can go, but there's no reason they have to be the first to jump in and maybe pay the most to a guy.
The Seahawks finalized the deal with Jerron Reed to return defensive tackle.
The Bengals' biggest shoulda, coulda, woulda every single year. The Bengals tried to sign him the last two off seasons, not this year, but the year before last and the year.
Jerron?
Yeah, he always picks another team. And somebody said, where is it at? I want to go to. It says Malik has the least intimidating voice. I hope somebody clicked that. It's funny. Big Daddy, your name is Big Daddy G13. You have the weirdest name. Just want to throw that out there really quickly. So hope somebody clicked that.
Oh, definitely.
I like having fun with y'all. Y'all are funny. And somebody says he ain't a grown man. Nobody's crying. It's if you will just take a snapshot of my DMs and how many times I get asked that same exact question about why. Listen, it takes two to tango. That's what negotiations are for, right? But you can't expect we can't be so entitled that we think players are want to go to a place so bad that they're willing to take a pay cut that drastic, to want to come to Cincinnati. Because I tell you right now, if the Bengals were willing to, operate outside of the norms, we've always said they're not going to be reckless with the cap spending. Now, whatever that looked like, you would think that the winning that you've had would bridge the gap and make people say, you know what, I'll take a pay cut to want to play there.
Mhm.
But it still is up to the player.
Right.
It's still up to the player. That's what it comes down to.
Speaking about, going back to the running backs, people are saying Jamal Williams or Chris Evans. What's the plan for the Bengals, would you guys say, at the running back position? Mixon, or do they go to the draft?
I don't think they've showed confidence in Chris Evans really much at all, unless they've just had him waiting in the wings for this exact moment. And I don't know if they trust him or Mixon pass blocking, which leaves a glaring hole for them at running back. And I think it still is just people have been talking about it. They've been talking to running backs in the draft.
Yes.
They've been talking to everybody. They've been doing their homework on these guys. So I fully expect that running back, defensive line, and tight end are going to be positions that they all target really heavily in this draft. That's deep at all of those positions, to be honest. So it's a good draft to do it. And I think they kind of go that route in general.
Yeah, the Bengals are definitely going to look to draft a running back. And I saw somebody ask about the Bengals drafting a punter, something that they're going to do. Guys, I also want to tell you guys a secret really quickly.
Secret
And
time.
it's just
Like and
us.
subscribe first.
It's just us. Yeah. I am a geek. You're right, Big Daddy G13. I am a geek 100%, brother. It seems like we're sparring. I know you were joking in the comment section. You were a geek too, brother. But we're both geeks. And we're both sitting up here talking about sports right now, right? But no, in all seriousness, I'll tell you, I want to tell you guys a secret. It's just us 600 plus people, me, Evan, you guys in the studio right now. The fact that so many marquee players are still on the open market, right? And it's the second day of legal tampering period. A lot of people are realizing their market probably isn't what they thought their market was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Can I tell you a secret? That's a good thing for some of these NFL teams. It's not a good thing for NFL teams that aren't good, to be honest with you. Now, the teams that are, trying to compete for a championship and stuff like that, like, the Chiefs, like the Eagles. I mean, teams that have the cap space, right? But teams that are also are able to offer out these bargain deals. This is a good thing that so many marquee free agents are sitting out there,
Mhm.
right? And you got a team like the Cincinnati Bengals, right? You got teams like the Chiefs. You got teams that are in championship form or championship contention. They can sit back and pluck pieces off the free agent market as they go.
Mhm.
Remember, the bad teams are the teams that are rushing to these terrible contracts and trying to sign people right away to these ridiculous deals. Now, teams that are in championship contention can sit back, let teams go out there and shoot their shot. And
Mhm.
then throughout the weekend, throughout the next couple of days, they can start finding these bargain free agents. I'm going to be honest with you. The fact that Mike Gesicki is not signed yet is shocking to me.
Your favorite.
My favorite tight end on the market. I'm simply telling you guys right now, the Bengals are not protecting any comp picks, bud, John Nickerson. You're wrong there. The Bengals are not protecting any comp picks. And I asked somebody very specifically about that, and they laughed and they scoffed at the idea. And it was said that way of thinking is dead. The Bengals are not sitting back thinking, oh, I don't want to sign said free agent because of comp picks. So wherever you're getting that from, whatever your thought process behind that, no, you're wrong. Trust me, I wouldn't sit up on this show and make stuff up. I have nothing to gain by making stuff up. But, the simple fact of the matter is the way I see it, the way I see it is the Bengals are going about this intelligently. Are they moving as quickly as they have in years past? No, they're not. But do they have to? No, they don't. No, they don't. Daniel?
Yeah, so people are, continuing to ask about players, and let's just go real quick to the NFL as a whole. Austin Eckler. What are you guys' thoughts? Where's Austin Eckler going to land if he's traded, obviously?
I actually have no idea. I mean,
Who needs a running back? I mean, that's the thing. There's so many free agents out there.
This
and there
free
are
agent,
so
I mean,
many
this draft.
I
This
know.
draft
That's what I'm
class.
saying. Who is like rushing to get a running back right now, let alone trade one to pay him? I just it's tough, man. There's a limited number of teams out there, especially with him getting to his age and with the size he is. I mean, there's that size bias that exists in the NFL, especially at running back. So I mean, I don't know. That's tough.
So going back to, the tight ends really quickly, even somebody said Dalton Schultz. They're very surprised about Dalton Schultz. What do you think about, this whole tight end market as a whole? I mean, Hayden Hurst hasn't been signed. None of these tight ends have been signed. So what do you guys think?
I'm indifferent about the tight end position. I do know that I spoke with someone who works very closely here, as I've said on the show before, who said that they were not anticipating him being back in Cincinnati, and they really thought, and he was gearing up as if he was going to his fourth team.
Mhm.
Now, again, is a team going to run out there, right? And is a team going to run out there and be like, you know what, I'm going to sign Hayden Hurst day 1 of free agency or day 2 of free agency?
Right.
Probably not. But I would expect some of these tight ends to come off the board starting tomorrow
Mhm.
and the next day, right? And they've got to.
Right. I
They've
mean,
got
you're
to.
talking about guys like Foster Moreau, Austin Hooper, like he said, Dalton Schultz, Mike Gesicki. I mean, these are good, talented tight ends, even Hayden Hurst. But I think, like you said, people aren't willing to overpay for them because a lot like running back, this is a really strong, really deep tight end class. And people feel they can get cheaper options that are of the same quality because tight end is one of those positions where people really like fits and you can have multiple of them that do different things. And it's a little bit easier to find that guy in the draft as opposed to a more specialized position like left tackle or corner or wide receiver or quarterback. So I definitely think that you're going to see some of these deals probably be a little bit less than they were originally expecting when they went out in the open market.
Have you guys heard anything about Jermaine Illuminor, or do you guys have any predictions?
I
on where
just
he's
asked
going?
about him right before the show started. Nothing just yet. Nothing just yet, guys.
Nothing
Nothing
just yet. Nothing just yet. Don't worry, I'm here to ask the tough questions. I'll get them. All right.
So we're gonna go to another free agent, Yannick Ngakoue.
Wait, Big Daddy G, brother. I appreciate y'all love. I appreciate you supporting the show, man. Really appreciate each and every like no matter what, guys, whether we agree, whether we disagree. I love the banter. We appreciate the support. I appreciate all 600 plus of you guys being in the chat. You guys make it fun. It's fun just to talk ball. This is what makes the National Football League the best sport in the world because they have the best fans in the world. So if you guys could do us a favor, give this video a like, and the biggest favor you could do for me is subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Sit Down with Malik Wright YouTube channel. Again, we have multiple shows going on, every single day this week as we're breaking down all the free agency news. I love talking ball with you guys. You guys are the highlight of my day. But continue.
Yannick Ngakoue, thoughts on where he's gonna land?
You know what? I don't know where Yannick is going to land, man. I know he was very unhappy to go to the Colts. He was pissed about that.
Was he?
So oh my God, yeah, man. So I don't know. I could see him going somewhere. I could see him going somewhere where he can win a ring or establish himself. I think he's done going to teams that are bad, man. I really do. I think he's over
that. Thoughts on Patrick Peterson? I know we talked about him yesterday, but real quick, thoughts on Patrick Peterson to the Steelers?
Man, that was a cool move for the Steelers. I can't tell if Patrick Peterson is falling off a cliff or if he's maintaining his level of play. I know that year he had with the Vikings, at least. I don't know. It's very challenging. I don't know.
It was solid, but we know that ball production can be fickle, right? Where it's one of those things that can vary a lot year to year. Obviously, being in position to make those plays helps, but also quarterbacks have to throw the ball to you. So if people opt to not do that with the strength of the secondary in Pittsburgh right now, then there's different ways that you can maybe navigate that or challenge him a little bit. Maybe make him uncomfortable because we know it's one of those positions that you get nicked up at a lot, especially past 30. So hopefully he can maintain his health and hopefully he can maintain his level of play, but it's also out of the ordinary generally for corners to do that. So, but I think it was a good signing for them. And I think he gets the longevity of the contract. I believe it was a 2-year deal. And I believe that with the guaranteed money probably sealed the deal for him.
Absolutely. And the platypus, you're 100% right. I agree with you. It's not because they're worried about a comp pick for a player. It's because they're trying to be smart about their cap space, and because they know they have the T. Higgins deal coming up and they have the Joe Burrow deal coming up, and they also know that there are pieces they want to add to the roster. But if you want to take that, take a victory lap off of the team being smart with cap space, by all means, do it, my man. Greg Luther, you asked, will safeties be addressed by the end of the week for the Bengals? I don't know if it's going to be addressed by the end of the week. They didn't sign Von Bell until the second or third wave of free agency the year that they did sign him. So there's no telling when it comes to that. In terms of the questions being asked about offensive line, do I envision any trades happening for Tristan Wirfs or players like that? I'll say and I don't think the Buccaneers are going to make Tristan Wirfs available. He is a blue chip player. The guy that they want to keep.
Tackles are so hard to find.
They're so hard to find.
You got the best one.
And here's the one thing I will say as well. Laramie Tunsil, there's a caveat in trading for him, right? Because the guy also said he wants to reset the tackle market.
I hate trading for the right to pay a player when you can just wait for them to go on free agency and make your offer if you really want to do it. Because we saw it with Jamal Adams in Seattle, right? If you trade for that player, if you give up all that draft capital, their agent is laughing to the bank because they are saying, we've got you over a barrel. You are going to have egg on your face and look like an idiot if you let me walk into free agency after giving up these assets and not signing me long term. So you're going to give me whatever I want. And you've got to sign on the dotted line. I'll send it to your office later this week. I mean, I absolutely hate the practice. I always think you should be patient and wait unless you're talking about, like you said, third, fourth round picks, second round picks. If you're giving up a first, a multiple first, just for the right to pay a guy, be patient and wait for free agency. That's my opinion.
So we got a question from our guy, Jack in studio. And
I also want to get to the dude, my main man in the comment section, JJ Productions. He's been loyal, man, the last few days we've been here. He's a Vikings guy, and I want to answer his questions as well. Appreciate you, man. Skull. I like the Vikings. They're a cool team.
Perfect. All right, we'll get to that one right after. He said he saw the Eagles called Dallas about trading Darius Slay, and now that James Bradbury's back on the Eagles, do we see the Eagles trading Darius Slay?
I think Darius Slay wants a new contract. He wants to stay in Philly, but wants a new contract. And Philly also has to think about it smartly as well. Again, they have to pay Jalen Hurts soon, right? So, I mean, what is Darius Slay making? Was he making like $17 million a year at one point or something like that?
He's making a lot.
I mean, how much money do these guys? I kind of laughed at them. I was like, how much money do these guys want sometimes? But no, if you ask me, man, Darius Slay just wants a contract. He's just doing this to make some noise, see if the Eagles are going to give him a new contract. Is a team
he's making 16 a year right now?
He's making $16 million a year at 32 years old.
Yeah. How much?
And you want a new contract? This is him trying to cash in, knowing that this is probably it. Like that's what this is. How many more years is left on his deal?
I think it's up now. The rest of his years on the Eagles look like from 24 to 26 are all void years. So the Eagles are eating $14 million in cap for him this year, anyways.
It's a lot.
Yeah, that's what restructuring does for you guys.
Yeah, there's a question that I want to get to really quickly.
You want to get to JJ's?
1 second. It says, so Jojo Wilk says, can I ask why you put the Meek Mill hitting the bell if we weren't re-signing Von Bell? JJ, let's go to that tweet that I have pulled up right now. If any of you guys can't see, is this tweet right here that I made. I said the focus right now is keeping some of their own. The Bengals tried to keep Von Bell. The Bengals tried to extend Von Bell. Von Bell did not want to accept the offer that the Bengals offered him. He got offered more with the Carolina Panthers. Where in that tweet did I say the Bengals are signing Von Bell? I got off the phone with somebody from the organization that said that their focus is keeping Von Bell.
Multiple other writers and reporters have reported that they were intent on
keeping.
So
where did I say that the Bengals were 100% going to sign Von Bell? I'll wait, but continue. Oh, and what was the Chris Boucher tweet about? That was about a player prop that I had. Yeah.
Chris Boucher.
Kurt Boucher, whatever. That was about a player prop that I had, but continue.
So our guy JJ's asking, where's Adam Thielen? Where do you guys think he's headed this offseason?
I would love to see the Patriots be players for him, man. I don't think they will be, though. I don't know. I think Adam Thielen is still talented.
Do you think he wants to? Is he one of those vets who wants to go to a contender after being in Minnesota and kind of swinging and missing?
I would want to play for a contender after being in Minnesota. Wouldn't you?
Does he end up with a team like the Chiefs for cheap?
I hope not.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But does he look around? Maybe he goes to the NFC. Maybe he looks around and says, "Hey, it's pretty wide open in the NFC." Maybe he goes to a top contender out there. So I don't know. I think the world's kind of his oyster when you're looking at those veterans. I think that's one of those situations where you look at a guy and he says, "I will take a good deal to be where I want to be, where I feel like I'm going to be needed, and I'll do it for cheap because I want a chance to win."
So Chasten's asking about the Bengals defensive line. Are there any Bengals defensive line or names that the Bengals are targeting, or what would be your guys' plan of action for the D line?
I know the Bengals are looking to add to the D line to get pass rush help. As I said on Bengals Gym Show, I'm not going to be that guy to put news out there, put rumors out there. And the reason why it's not that I want to keep information from you guys. It's the simple fact that when you're in negotiations with a player, or when you're talking to a player, you're putting out feelers for a player, the last thing you want to do is say, you know what, this team is interested in XYZ player, and then a team comes in with a bigger offer. It's a reason why some teams, when they agree to terms with certain players, they actually prefer for the numbers not to get out, because in the event that a team, a player if team calls a player and they say, hey, you know what, we'll call you, we'll pay you XYZ for for you to leave the team. It's a lot like what happened with the what's his face? What's the guy's name, man? He was
what's his name? Yeah.
Eric Berry.
Yeah.
Eric Berry. Remember, it was Eric Thomas, the former Seahawks
Earl
safety.
Thomas?
Earl Thomas. He had a deal in place.
Eric Thomas.
Yeah, no, seriously, he had a deal in place with the Chiefs. He was headed to go to the Chiefs.
Yep.
And then the numbers got out and what that was going to be. And then the Ravens came in and gave him a bigger offer. And then the Ravens swooped him out. Now we know what happened, but the fact of the matter is you don't you don't meddle around and just say names and then have a team come in there and swoop a player up.
Right.
Now it's out of your control. Now you're sitting there,
And just to speak to the D-line, they're paying $15 million per year to Hendrickson right now, $10 million per year to Hubbard, 13 to Reeder, and 10 to BJ Hill. So with all that money already wrapped up in a lot of the starters on your D-line, I would be looking for them to, like you said, pursue some of those veterans that might take a 1 or 2 year deal to come and chase a ring. So I would be looking at guys like Matt Ioannidis, Melvin Ingram, Justin Houston, Sheldon Rankins, maybe, if this market stays the way it is right now and these guys are not going to get the money maybe that they think they are, or they're waiting for the perfect situation, then I think these are some legitimate options that you could do that could add to that depth without straining the cap, and would also give them the flexibility to attack whatever position or whatever good player falls to them in the draft without feeling like you have to take one certain avenue.
So breaking news, Chargers released starting guard Matt Fielder. He had an 8.5 cap hit. 8.5.
That was a guard
hit.
the Bengals were interested in before in the free agency. So we'll see what happens there.
So that leads to our next question from it's Hattie. He says, "Is there any steam picking up on a new tackle for the Bengals? Tunsil Wirfs."
No,
guys, yeah, set your sights a lot lower and a lot less expensive.
Our guy Aiden's asking about the Patriots. What do you guys think is the Patriots' plan at receiver? Massive positional need, especially
God bless
without.
If I knew.
I don't know what the Patriots' move is. I think the Patriots are content to think that Mac Jones can just throw. I think they think Mac Jones can just do what Brady did and just throw to anybody. And I don't think that that's conducive to the kid's health or the kid's success. I don't think they've done right by him.
You couldn't pay $11 million for Jacoby Myers.
It's the thing about, do they want to? The Patriot, man. Listen, I'm not a big Mac Jones guy, but come on, man. They're leaving that kid defend for himself, man.
They're giving
you got the
help.
defensive
help at coordinator.
You got a defensive coordinator calling offensive plays, and you're just expecting this dude to just make it happen. Come on, man.
Throw some defensive backs out there or something he can catch.
I don't know. I'm starting to think that Bill Belichick might get fraud checked. Honestly, that's where I'm at with it, because I don't know what it is. And I was talking to my guy Aiden Mayer. You guys should give him a follow. He's awesome on Twitter, man. And he's like, you know what? He's like, I don't. He said he thinks Bill Belichick is obsessed with having so much power and really doesn't know what to do with it all, honestly. And I kind of, I hate to be that. Bill Belichick is the greatest football coach of our era, but man,
not looking good right now.
Yeah, he does not look like the GOAT of coaches, man. Honestly,
yeah,
being honest.
I'm going to have you guys put your thinking caps on. Mike W is asking, what team has buyer remorse from a signing at this point in free agency? What would be a signing so far that you look at and say that team is going to regret that signing, if any?
What do you think, Malik? You got one? You're over there smiling.
A team that's going to regret a signing in free agency so far. I think the Bears are going to wind up regretting that Tremaine Edmonds contract.
Mhm.
You know, paying him what, $75 million. I think that was pretty crazy. I think the Chiefs with Jawan Taylor, Marissa Myers. There we go. She said it as well. Chiefs with Jawan Taylor. I think that's going to be an interesting one. I think Mike
Asking him to
McGlinch.
switch sides. They've pretty much hunkered down on that they want him to switch sides and play left tackle, right? That's I mean, he's young and he's doing the best he can, but man, just like imagine dribbling basketball with your
Yeah,
right
man.
hand for 10 years and then switching to your left suddenly. Like as good as you might be with your right hand, using your left is a lot different. You're
Mhm.
talking about like, really unique footwork, technique, everything.
Alan Lazard today, $44 million. No, like, come on, man.
I mean,
What?
I understand the fit in terms of
I get
like
it
in
too,
that
man.
in that scheme, he's a run blocker. But with again, Jacoby getting 11, there's so many receivers out there. I know it's for Aaron Rodgers, but man, God, he's just holding them hostage. Holding another team hostage.
We've got 700 people on this chat right now. If you guys could all do us a favor, subscribe to the YouTube channel, greatly appreciated. Might do a giveaway at the end of the week.
Thank you
As well.
Ooh.
So if you guys can subscribe to the YouTube channel, we appreciate it. You know, that's gonna be my way of giving back and saying thank you guys so much for supporting us as well. And Justin Neff, man, you're a goat, bro. You've been messaging me and talking with me all week. I'll say this, man. Like you said, you don't want to hear that it takes two to tango, and other teams are doing more with less cap space, being more aggressive during the win now mode. I agree with you, man. I agree with you. This is not me in any way, shape, or form, saying that you're wrong. This is I agree with you. I share the frustration that you share because you think this is the closest the Bengals have been since the 80s to winning a Super Bowl. You'd think that they'd be more aggressive. Don't get it. Don't understand. JJ Productions, my man, he says thoughts on the Kendricks contract. So thoughts on Kendricks trade. Kendricks trade. Is he talking about
Kendricks, the linebacker? You got they signed Kendricks.
the Rams did?
Lance
No,
Kendricks?
Chargers.
Chargers signed him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Eric
the
Kendricks.
Chargers, I mean, they definitely need linebacker help, right? I mean,
Right.
they got
It's
Kenneth Murray there.
2 years, 13 and a half.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
6 a year. I mean, for a guy who's a little bit on the older side and had his worst season yet, but has a chance maybe to, with a new team, with new invigorated spirit,
yeah.
maybe going from Minnesota out there to Los Angeles and get the
Right.
chance to win. Maybe he can revitalize his career a little bit and get back to that form he had just even 2 seasons ago, because he was one of the better coverage linebackers in the NFL for many years. So
Right.
the question is whether his athleticism tanked or whether, the Vikings were obviously had their own share of struggles last season, and maybe going to a new scenery, new defensive coordinator will help him out.
A couple rapid fire questions for you guys. Calais Campbell for Cincinnati, or is he done? Or what are your thoughts on even them releasing him?
I think it sucks, man. That dude was a veteran. He's a pro's pro, man. He's a hardworking guy. He's a guy that rallies the troops, and it just sucks that, man. I mean, I understand this is the business, right? You guys got to get cut, but Calais Campbell, man, whatever team he goes to, is going to provide veteran leadership, and he still plays very, very good. He's one of
he's still
he's still
big and strong, man. He's still huge and strong. So yeah, no, I agree. I think anybody could use him for cheap on their rotation, and I think he can still give a team a good couple hundred snaps, 200 snaps, 300 snaps on the rotation.
So we got some good questions, but Tom Jones is saying, Malik, if you were the GM, right? If you were the GM right now,
put your GM hat on.
What 3 decisions would you do? No particular order. What would you do?
I'll put my GM hat on right now. Here we go.
Do it.
All right. Well, Tom, if I was a GM, well, funny thing enough, next week on the State of the Jungle, we're actually going to be doing a live war room where we're going to be breaking down the NFL draft as if we're the Bengals front office, and we're going to be discussing things. Logan will be back on the show. Evan will be here, and we'll be talking through the picks, and we'll be going through it. But if I was a GM right now, the couple moves I would make, man, y'all trying to get me in trouble. I'd cut Joe Mixon. I'm just gonna be honest. I'd cut Joe Mixon.
I agree. It's time.
I'd sign Mike Gesicki in free agency. I'd offer him a 1 to 2 year deal.
Mm-hmm.
That's the second move I'd make. I'd go after the Raiders tackle.
Luminor. I agree with all those.
Now ask Ev the question.
Ev, all right, Ev, put your GM cap on. What are you doing? Once again, you've got 3 choices free agency. What's your first three?
I absolutely would agree with trying to go after Illuminor. He's my favorite target. I think he was 17th among tackles and run block grade. He was a good pass blocker last season. The question mark is really that it was his first season getting full starter reps. But if you're willing to invest on that on the guy who's 28, you're talking about a guy who on this market already was projected about $5 million now being a tackle. And the team taking a chance on him, he may get over that. He may get 7 or 8, but I feel like that's a good investment in him. So I agree with that. I definitely want to add a veteran tight end, right? You got a glaring need at that spot. And
I don't want just anybody.
Right.
Give me Mike Gesicki, man.
Okay.
Give me Mike Gesicki. Trust me. That guy is a baller.
If we
that
agree,
guy
if
is
we
a baller.
agree he's coming
Yo,
for
if
a
you
decent
guys
deal,
want
we're
Mike
good, man.
Gesicki, do me a favor. Everybody put Dolphins emoji in the chat. If you want Mike Gesicki on the Cincinnati Bengals, put Dolphins emoji in the chat. Remind you, it doesn't preclude you it doesn't stop you from drafting a tight end in the draft. I'm just saying, if you want a veteran guy there, yeah, put Dolphin emojis in the chat. I want to see how many people are riding with me. I want to see how many people are riding with me on this, man.
So I want to go back to the safeties really quickly.
Yeah, all those Dolphins.
I love it.
All those Dolphins.
Make it happen.
All those Dolphins.
Make it happen.
Gesicki to the natty. Gesicki to the natty. Let's start that trend, man. Let's get all those Dolphins and I'm hyped right now. That's what we love to see.
Oh,
we're all Gesicki fans here. Let's go.
Yeah, this chat's going crazy.
Let's go.
Holy crap.
I love this. You guys just made my day. I know I'm not alone.
Look at
I'm
that
not
smile.
alone.
This man's beaming.
Huh?
You're beaming.
Oh,
right
I love
now.
this.
You lit up.
I love this, man.
I'm trying to put as many of these Dolphins up.
Oh,
as
man.
possible.
We got the listen. Miss it. What? Gesicki was terrible. Sure, he was, but this is a passing league, man.
They were asking him to block all
It's
the
a
time.
passing league.
Just didn't fit the scheme anymore.
Man, listen, what do you want? What do you want? Yeah, Sicky and the natty. I like that. I like that. That's tough. Yo, that's tough. I love you guys. You guys are awesome.
Hey, David said,
This
guess and Nick Addy. Get Gesicki natty.
Gesicki natty. Let's get it. Somebody got to start the trend. Let's start the trend, man. I'm telling you, these players see it, man. These players see it.
Let's make.
I love it, man. That made my day.
Let's make it happen. But really quickly about the safeties. Any news on Julian Love, or do you guys think Taylor Rapp is in Lou Anarumo's handful of players list?
I don't know what specific safety they are targeting. I was trying to be respectful today, and I kind of I didn't go around asking. I wanted to give them. I know they weren't too. The organization wasn't happy to be in the position that they were when they lost Von Bell and Jesse Bates all on the same day. So I wanted to give them some time to be respectful and kind of let them, figure out themselves. But tomorrow I'm definitely gonna be on the phones for sure.
If I was placing this from Sean, if I was placing a right bet on the Bengals making a move tomorrow, are you taking those odds for the Bengals to make a move tomorrow, or do you think that they stand pat?
Wait, say that one more time for me.
He's saying if he were to place a right bet,
yeah,
obviously
I like that. I like that.
The betting show. He said
on
them making a move tomorrow, like you're betting on the Bengals to make a move. Do you think that they're going to make a move or not?
If I was a betting man,
yeah,
I would bet them to make a move tomorrow. I would.
Evan?
You do host a show called The Right Bet, right?
I do host a show.
So
called
you
The Right
are a
Bet.
betting man, you might say.
I am a betting man.
Okay, so there you go. Just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind.
Evan, is that a yes?
I mean, I'm going to listen to this man right here. He's got more actual, real understanding of what's going on there than I do. All I can do is project and analyze, and I'm going to trust that man's word right there.
Somebody just asked me, Malik, who is your most surprised still available free agent? Evan, you know me better than anybody. Who is my most surprised
Mike Gesicki.
Huh?
Mike Gesicki.
There we go. That's it. I can't believe he's still available. And I'm chomping at the bit for him.
Oh,
I want that guy. So I want that guy.
Gesicki.
I will trade my firstborn child for Mike Gesicki to land in the Bengals.
Do you fall asleep at night watching his combine workouts?
Listen, let me tell you, that guy, he's different, man. I've always wanted to see what Joe Burrow was able to do with the game changer at tight end.
Oh yeah, that would be huge, especially with how much teams are running cover 2, being able to be that threat over the middle, man. And in the intermediate threat in that defense like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Trust me, I would change. I was high on when Hayden Hurst came to Cincinnati. I knew his stardom would rise, but the fact that Mike Gesicki is still out there, I would think that teams would be knocking down that guy's door. I would, yeah.
So our guy Jacob's asking about Jordan Poyer. Where do you guys think should the Bengals look at him, or where do you guys think he's going?
I know he wanted to go to Miami, and he made that very, very clear
Mhm.
that he wanted to go to Miami. Like almost at a nauseating pace that he wanted to go to Miami.
He's gonna have to go cheap, man.
I
'Cause
just
they've
don't think
got
he.
so much money.
I just don't
committed.
think he can do it. I think he's upset because they did the whole Jalen Ramsey thing, man, and that kind of probably nixed some things that he had
Mhm.
hoped for. But I do think that the Raiders are interested in him to some degree.
So sticking with the Raiders really
Mhm.
quickly, they're asking about Darren Waller. What was your guys' thoughts? They know he's injury prone, but what was your thoughts on Darren Waller?
I think Darren Waller's still a baller, man.
Right.
And Waller's still a baller. That more I do. But here's the thing. I also think it sucks that he's going to another quarterback that I'm not too high on personally.
Daniel Jones. That was my selection for the contract that was probably going to be buyer's remorse.
Really?
Oh yeah, I'd probably put it up there, man.
just-
I know the going rate for quarterbacks, but that was the best you're getting out of Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I
man.
think Daniel Jones. I just wish that Darren Waller was with a quarterback that could actually help him put up Travis Kelce numbers, because I think he's certainly capable.
I mean, you were expecting the most out of Jimmy G. I mean, obviously, that's going to be tough for him losing
yeah.
Darren Waller when he is healthy. If he manages to stay that way, he's still a devastating weapon out there, and it was still a 1-year deal that you can get out of if you don't like it after this season. So, I mean, just trying to recoup a pick, I understand, but a third, right? Pick 100, I think it was. I think it would have been better to keep that guy on the roster. Maybe that means something for Foster Moreau. Maybe that means there's space to bring him back now. I don't know. I'm not sure. You'd probably have a little bit more information on that than me, but that's just kind of the way I read the situation. And maybe they're looking at the tight end market saying, hey, we'd rather play in there or get a guy in the draft. So that's all about how they view that position and they view their prospects.
Switching over really quickly to the cornerback room. DJ said, "Rock yes, Cincinnati." That's great.
Love it. Love it.
That's funny.
He's still what, 26? I mean, yeah, I'd be willing to take a chance on him. And you said Lou Anarumo, man. He's the defensive back guru. So yeah, give a guy a chance and solve your problem at youth. We talked about Mike Hilton, 30 years old next season. I'm sorry. Cam Taylor-Britt. That is it. That is the end of the corners that are playing for the Bengals under contract next season. So you definitely need to add to that room. And a 30-something-year-old guy is only going to help you for 1 year, and you're right back in the same spot. So they definitely need to get younger, whether that's in the draft or whether that's in free agency, and they try and get one of these guys who are 25, 26, 27, or 28 and just get them for a 2-year or 3-year rental. Then I would understand that. But I would expect that or them to attack a guy like Deonte Banks if he falls to them in the draft, which I don't know if after his workout he will.
Our guy JJ Productions asking about Malik. What are your thoughts on Joe Mixon's release rumors? What do you think about that?
Yeah.
All right.
That's all he needs to say.
All right. Landon's asking, are we cutting Lyle Collins, or what do you guys think about Lyle?
Why?
That's yours, man.
I mean, we're clamoring for offensive line depth. This guy is on a contract where much of the money is tied up in per game roster bonuses. So sign somebody in free agency for cheap. One of those cheaper guys, whether that's a fan, whether that's, we talked about Illuminor. I mean, just get something there to where Collins can have time to get 100% healthy. And at worst, he's one of the cheapest backups in the league. And at best, he ends up starting for you in a pinch, especially if you end up with a tackle going down again. And you don't want to see a Hakeem Adedeji there. I think it's silly to just be getting rid of linemen when we're also clamoring simultaneously for offensive line depth. I just think it's silly.
If you guys can do us a huge favor, give this video a like. We're trying to get to 300 likes, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are going live every single day this week, breaking down all NFL news, rumors, the whole 9 yards. So, appreciate your support so far on the show. Danny, let's keep the conversation rolling. Let's keep the questions coming.
Yeah, we've got Robert saying, Malik, should we relax or panic? And I see a lot of people saying, like, well, it's day 2. We're not doing anything. So what can you tell the people? Should they relax, panic?
Relax. In the words, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to use this man.
No.
Relax.
We don't say that
Just
on
relax.
this. We don't say that on this show unless absolutely necessary.
Just relax. That's all I'm going to say. It's a long process. Free agency is not over by tonight. I promise you guys. Free agency is not over by tomorrow. I promise you guys. As a matter of fact, free agency hasn't even technically started. It doesn't start until tomorrow.
Those pre-negotiated
Those
deals
pre-negotiated
have all
deals,
gotten
right?
taken
It's where
care
people
of.
say, you know what, I'll offer you $50 million a year just to sign with my team, please. It's where if you really want to,
I got to reach the cap floor. I need talented
the
players.
best way I could explain it, if you've ever played NBA 2K, there is a point in the franchise mode where it's a thing called the moratorium period, where you can sign guys, you can agree to extensions, but nothing's official until it's official. You don't believe me? The other day I was playing NBA 2K. My Lakers franchise. I'm a Celtics fan, but I was playing a Lakers franchise. I offered Kyrie Irving in free agency. Gutted my entire roster. Offered Kyrie Irving a deal in free agency. 4 years, $175 million. Nope. Kyrie Irving decided to sign with the Chicago Bulls. That deal didn't happen. Then he's a free agent again the second day of the moratorium period. Nope. Kyrie Irving decides to sign with the 76ers. Then it comes available, and that's now still not happening. Then day one of free agency. Kyrie Irving's a free agent. I offer him the $175 million, 4 years, same contract. I offer him from the get-go. A lot like the Bengals. I'm staying my ground. He accepted, and now he's a Laker. So this is what this is. It's a moratorium period. It's a time for teams to legally negotiate. So if that tells you everything you need to know, hold your horses. It's a long, 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 long way.
Our guy Alex is saying, Malik, after Mike Gesicki, who is your favorite free agent that's still available right now? I'll start with you and then go to Evan after.
You're asking me who my favorite free agent? That's not fair. Why don't you go to Evan first?
All right,
go to Evan first.
Let's go to Evan.
Go to be first. I think Illuminor is my favorite, just because of the fit, the age, the price, everything makes sense, right? Like it's just it checks every single box for what the Bengals need, what you would look for. Someone who hits everything, and his only question really is that he just hasn't really started except for last season. So I'd be willing to take that chance as opposed to other guys who maybe are really poor run blockers or are just okay in the passing game, because we know the Bengals are one of those top 5 teams in terms of true pass sets, really getting back and throwing the ball and doing it often and asking these offensive linemen to really block, not doing the protected things like screens and play action rollouts and such. So that's something to be looking for, and that's something I definitely hope for.
Good question here from Josh. He's saying, Malik, do you think that the Bengals will have a problem with David Mulgeta in the future? Obviously, you know, he was the agent for Jesse Bates. Do you think that they have a problem?
I think Dave Mulgeta always wants to get the best for his clients, and that's the athlete's first way. Yeah, I don't know.
It's not always going to be a top of the market deal, right? That just means the most money they can get. So maybe for an Illuminor, like I believe he's represented by Mulgeta, that would be maybe if he wants the top end of it, he's talking about 10 million. I mean, if that's what they're looking at. I know his market valuation by guys over the cap, PFF Brad Spielberger, is somewhere around 4 and 5. I think it'll be even higher than that. But, you know, if you're talking about a guy like a Joseph Osai, if he was up for a contract right now, he wouldn't get maximum defensive end money, you know, but he still might chase 14, 15 million or something like that. So like you said, he's going to get the most that he can for his client, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be top of market and it's going to be extremely difficult all the time.
We got one of the biggest questions that we haven't even talked about. Andy Dalton. I want to get you guys' thoughts. Andy Dalton to the Carolina Panthers. I know we talked about the Panthers, you know, quarterback situation, but Evan, real quick, what's your thoughts on Dalton to the Panthers?
That's, you know, your veteran bridge quarterback who's just going to mentor whoever they end up drafting. That's pretty much it.
Malik, thoughts on Andy Dalton?
Wish him the best.
All right. People once again are asking about. They said Chauncey Gardner just retweeted Mike Hilton again.
Oh God,
probably trying to push that agenda. But if you guys are looking at the defensive side of the ball, who would be your favorite defender still on the board? I know Yannick Ngakoue is still on the board. I know you got some safety, some cornerbacks. Who would be you guys' favorite defender on the board?
With price not an issue?
Price not an issue. Just NFL in general. It doesn't have to be Bengals.
I guess just like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is obviously a guy who plays really physical and really fast. So that would be a guy that would be really cool. You know.
Who?
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
Evan, why are you doing this?
They said
who's the favorite defender? Just
right. It's not who you would like for the Bengals. It's just in general.
I love you, brother.
Like, he's just fun.
You are going to be the reason behind these tweets that happen later tonight. You're going to be the reason. You are going to be the sole reason. You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say
I'm going to keep you up at night.
Yeah.
You gonna lose your hair because of me?
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
I'm just saying. What, you want me to say something more like Orlando Brown? Then you really get some tweets going. You don't want to do that.
Bro, Brady thinks he's a left tackle. He's not. Like, he's a right tackle. Like, he gets so upset because teams don't want to pay him as a left tackle. Like, bro, you're a right tackle and you're a damn good one. Just be that. Like, why are you trying to, like, I get it, left tackles make more. Okay, just ask for more, but play right tackle.
You've seen the right tackle and left tackle contracts balance out. Even just a few years ago, there was as much of a difference of like $10 million between like the average of the top 5 left tackles and top 5 right tackles. But we've seen the market correct itself as you see pass rushers kind of switch sides and move all over the side, all over now, because rightly defensive coordinators are going, let's attack the weak link. Let's not just keep lining our star pass rusher up against their best pass blocker every single snap. They're smarter than that. They're adapting. So I don't think it's as important. And I think you're seeing that reflected in the contract value for right tackles in recent years.
So I love the question I just got by JJ. Ask that question, man. I like that one.
Yeah, so first off, the Platypus said, I love you, Malik. Want to thank you guys for the awesome content.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
You guys could just do us a huge favor. Just give this video a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Please.
We are trying. We have a goal. We're trying to reach 4K, and we can't do this without you guys. We'll be back live here tomorrow, same time, 6 p.m., breaking down all the news and rumors and talking about things.
I got a funny one, but JJ said, who's going to be the Colts starter in 2023? That was from our guy JJ Productions.
Ooh.
Will Levis.
Ooh, really?
Will Levis.
You think so? Do you think they stand pat in the draft right now and get him?
Weird happened at the combine.
He put mayonnaise in his coffee.
Do you guys want me to say what happened weird at the combine?
Yes.
Just comment down below. You guys want me to tell you guys what happened weird at the combine? And this is complete conspiracy theorist Malik going on real quick, but there's something weird happened at the combine. But I won't do it until we get the likes up and we get the subscribers up and people comment in the comment section. Then I'll say it. Then you ask your weird question. I'll tell you guys what weird happened in the combine.
Well, there's a funny one. He said, Josh said, Malik, just tweet this all the time that refer the Chauncey Gardner questions to Evan. So he wants you to
send them my way.
Send them to Evan. But no, the funny one was, serious question is Aaron Rodgers crazy?
Yeah.
And Evan, I know you've got a lot to say about that. I think we're gonna
on what?
On is Aaron Rodgers crazy?
Oh God!
But we might have to hold off on that one.
We'll give all of our Aaron Rodgers thoughts tomorrow after he goes on his little.
Let me tell them the weird.
Yeah, they want to hear. The people want to hear.
So something really weird happened at the combine.
Let loose, Malik.
We were up interviewing. We were up interviewing. No, we were up interviewing players at the combine, and during the quarterbacks talk, when it was quarterback's time to talk, Will Levis was up there, and the Colts mascot came by with cameras and went right by his podium. First, he threw peanut butter like things at a wide receiver or a player. I forgot who it was exactly. He threw something at the player, and the player like dropped it, and then he went over to Will Levis's podium and just stared at him and it like doing the little thing where the what's the Colts mascot name? Blue. And then his little like nostril things are flaring out and stuff like that. And so he had a camera following him and all this stuff like that. He did that strictly only one time throughout the week. You would think if you're promoting something, you would do that multiple times throughout the week. But why would you do that exactly when Will Levis was speaking? Why would you then spend a dedicated amount of time, at his podium, and then you just leave out? And we never saw him the rest of the week, by the way. I know that that's conspiracy theorists, but if you ask me, there was something to that. That's all I'm going to say.
Thoughts on that, Ev?
Just saying.
You're an interesting fellow, Malik.
All I'm saying is everybody turned in the room and they said, yep, Will Levis is a Colt. That's what everybody said.
I definitely would agree. It's peculiar.
But think about how cool that would be. They draft Will Levis.
Right.
The Colts have that as like a video package, introducing him to the organization. I don't know. I'm probably way off. I probably shouldn't be a detective. It's the same reason why I try to tell people Bryce Young is going to be a Panther, and people call me crazy. And I'm trying to tell you, I'm not. smokescreen season. There's a lot of stuff happening. But
Mhm.
again, if Will Levis is a Colt by the end of draft night, Evan, just bring me an absurd amount of lemonade and we'll be good. That's all I'm going to say. Because lemonade is my weakness.
So I got a Lamar Jackson question. He apparently tweeted out today that he turned down a 3-year, $133 million fully guaranteed contract. Do you guys think that that's a good move for him to turn that down?
Everybody just seems lost about what Lamar wants. I don't think nobody understands what Lamar Jackson wants. I don't know. Lamar is his own guy. That's the best I could say. At this point, him and Aaron Rodgers situation is very weird, frustrating, and just confusing all around. So
I mean, that's $44 million per year guaranteed, but that's Daniel Jones money. Dear God, this dude's a former MVP. Like Lamar Jackson and Daniel Jones are not even close, right? Lamar Jackson, for all he gets work, as a passer and all the trash he takes for that, and he's not even genuinely that bad. He's just not an elite level passer. He still has a really strong arm. He still can fire that thing, and he still was productive even without those receivers and basically relying on Mark Andrews all the time. I mean, I just think that's insulting to him. I think the short time that you have, 3 years for Lamar, doesn't show that you believe in him and you think he probably is going to break down. The guaranteed money, yeah, that's nice, but for saying you are going to earn less than Daniel Jones, I mean, that's extremely disrespectful, which is perfectly in line with how the Ravens have approached the entire process. I don't understand. I'm sorry. I don't understand why the Ravens are constantly being praised for being so smart. I understand the logic behind the transition tag, but to poison your relationship with your quarterback so thoroughly like this, when it is so hard to find a quarterback who can be that top 5, top 10 guy and take you over the hump in the playoffs and really be an extreme difference maker for you, it's just absurd. I don't understand digging your heels into the ground. And if you really don't believe in him, then that's fine. Like, I understand, but to think he's going to want to actually come back and play with you, even if the money's all even, I doubt it with how they've handled this every step of the way. Sorry.
No,
Evan's cooking right now.
I love it. Cooking with something. So our guy Emmanuel's asking, and I'm curious, hear what you guys have to say. The running back situation. He said in all caps, "Who do you want for running back now that P. Ryan is gone?" Cough, cough, Jerick McKinnon.
Cough, cough, Zach Charbonnet.
Drafting a guy. Absolutely.
Completely. So, Evan, question here from JJ. He's saying, does it make sense for Anthony Richardson to go to the Colts? He had an amazing combine performance.
Do you think he makes it that far after his combine, after he interviewed with those people? Do you think he makes it to them?
Some team is going to be like, you know what?
Take a chance. Take a chance on the trades.
There's one key word that I hate during draft season. I'm looking at my buddy Jack, who's live with us in studio right now, and the word is intangibles. I cannot stand that word during draft season. Oh, he has all the intangibles, and that's a word that you hear from Anthony Richardson. I actually heard people say the guy only has like 6 or 7 throws on his tape that you're like, wow, he can be something in the NFL. The rest is, in their words, shit. I don't think his tape is shit. I don't think that the guy is going to be. I think he is a project. I think he's something to work with.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you look at it.
You're taking a chance on trades.
You're taking a chance, right? You're
100%.
taking a chance. And to me,
maybe they see Josh Allen and say, "Hey, we'll try it." But I mean, that's difficult to ask, man. You're chasing an outlier, and that's always difficult when you're chasing outliers, right? You like to look at what are the traits that make people successful, and that's usually accuracy. That's usually being able to process things well. That's how you survive when the windows get tighter in the NFL. You rely on that accuracy, not just being able to complete a pass, but be able to complete it in a tight window. Be able to have that pocket presence. Those pockets aren't clean in the NFL. You're not just going to out athlete everybody on that offensive line. So,
P. Crawley 513 said it best. He said, "Sounds like Trey Lance to me." And let me ask you a question, P. Crawley, because you seem like a very smart dude. Where was Trey Lance drafted? What pick was he? Was he 4 or 3?
Oh,
I think he was 3, wasn't he? I think he was 4. He was top 5.
Yeah,
top 5.
Top 5. And is that what it takes? Does it take having talent? He was third. See, everybody's saying third. Yeah, I know I'm not crazy. Y'all making me think I'm crazy. I'm not crazy. I know.
Third.
Somebody, Gavin said second. Gavin, I was right there with you, brother. Like second or third. I knew he was somewhere. But the fact of the matter is, if that guy could get drafted third, right?
Right.
And you look at it
with being at a lower program, lower level. Yeah. Not quite having the size and the just absolute necessarily cannon that Anthony Richardson is not as physically imposing or as impressive, which matters, man. Especially, can you imagine being one of those typical, just kind of, obviously size and traits matter, but can you imagine interviewing Bryce Young and then suddenly Anthony Richardson walks in behind him? I mean, just the sheer comparison, you just got to like probably look at each other like,
I mean, Bryce Young, what they say his playing weight was at 185, 195.
Oh, probably. I bet he was slugging milkshakes and water all before the weigh-in to get in there, man.
He had to be, man. He had to be, because that guy's small, man. He's small. But somebody said, Malik, in your opinion, what position groups do you think that our coaching staff, Duke, is prioritizing this free agency? Depth at the defensive line, depth on the offensive line with a potential right tackle that could start. No, I don't mean going out there getting a crazy starter.
No.
But it would be nice if, Orlando Brown was like, you know what? Y'all don't, the Chiefs gave up on me. They ain't believe in me. They wrote me off. I ain't right back. And he says, you know what? I'm going to sign with the Bengals, sign with the Chiefs rival. What if he did that?
Wake up, Malik. Wake up. It's time for school.
Wake up, Malik. Wake up. No, but in all seriousness, that. And, they're going to try to fill out the back end. Did I say defensive line room?
Yeah.
Offensive line.
I think there's veterans to be had at all of those positions for the Bengals budget, right? For that $4 to $8 million range or whatever you're looking at. I think there's plenty of veterans at the defensive line, at the offensive line. And I definitely, like I said, I want to see them try and attack some of this youth at corner that's out there. Take a chance on a guy, especially when you have Lou.
My guy Grant said Odell to the Jets. I think the Jets have.
They've already got Elijah Moore. They've already got they're limited in cap. They're not going to be able to afford $20 million because
I know Elijah Moore was really pissed with the Jets last year. He's gonna like playing with Aaron Rodgers.
He'll like it a lot more, man.
Well, I just don't know if he'll like it when they go out and they get Randall Cobb.
So if they have Alan Lazard and they have Randall Cobb and they have Elijah Moore and they have Garrett Wilson, and you have CJ Uzomah,
who? No, you didn't just mention him as a weapon.
I just
mentioned him as a weapon.
What have the Packers had at tight end in recent years?
Oh, come on, brother.
Robert Tonyan.
Robert Tonyan's better than CJ Uzomah.
Yeah, I think they're both pretty average.
That's fine. But Robert Tonyan's better than CJ Uzomah.
Post ACL?
Probably not. But
that's what I'm saying, man.
Damn. I mean, if that's going to give him the leg up.
I'm not saying that's the leg up. I'm just saying that's the fifth option, man.
I like messing with you, man.
Caleb McGarry back to the Falcons. Breaking news.
Great.
I mean, they got the money. It depends if he wants to be there.
Great.
Yeah. Well, one thing I thought this was Travis said this, and this is actually kind of mind blowing. Lance was a third overall pick, but he may get replaced by Mr. Irrelevant before even getting the chance to start.
Bars.
I didn't even. That's
bars.
That's a lot to think about.
But yeah, that's pretty much all the questions.
If you guys could do us a huge favor, give this video a like, but subscribe to our YouTube channel. We greatly appreciate your support. We greatly appreciate you guys following along. We'll be back here tomorrow live for another episode of Free Agency Frenzy Day 3, presented to you by First Star Logistics. We're live from the First Star Logistics studio too. And, we spend a lot of time here as well. But we'll be back here tomorrow, same time, 6 p.m. Make sure you guys are here. Make sure you guys subscribe and turn on the post notification button so you guys do not miss when we go live. You guys can start the Gesicki to the Natty train as well. And, I'm sure you guys, I'm sure you guys would be happy with Mike Gesicki the same way I would be happy if he were to come here. But if you're looking to start your career as a broker as well, make sure you guys apply to First Star Logistics. We have the QR code up there on the screen, so you can simply just scan that. And we appreciate you guys so much for joining us live on Free Agency Frenzy Day 2. We'll be back tomorrow, 6 p.m. for Free Agency Frenzy Day 3. Make sure you guys bring your questions, your comments, subscribe to our YouTube channel, give this video a like, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Until then, good night, everybody.